I am absolutely stunned by this news. I said from the field in Denver after the game on Saturday evening, I thought there was no chance that Sean McDermott would be fired despite some of the speculation over the course of his tenure of, if the Bills don't get it done this year, Sean McDermott's going to go. It just didn't seem likely. And let's just talk about the game itself, because sometimes there are games that coaches get fired for. Okay, that was a game that his team committed 5 turnovers. I mean, lots of things are in coaches' hands. Turnovers in general are not, particularly some of the ones that occurred in that game. You could criticize McDermott maybe for running an offense at the end of the first half when there was only 16 seconds left, but certainly the decision and the way the ball was put on the ground was not on Sean McDermott. And I mean, they have a much depleted roster, which on both offense and defensive side of the ball compared to Denver. They go on the road for the second road playoff game in 6 days, and they fight to overtime and lose, and McDermott gets fired. I don't think he got fired for this game. I think probably what he's gotten fired for is 6 straight years of winning at least one playoff game, which, by the way, the Bills are the only team in the NFL that have won at least one playoff game for 6 consecutive years, and not being able to convert any of that into a Super Bowl appearance. And look, McDermott is a defensive-minded head coach. That's his side of the ball. And if you look at the Bills' exit games, the defense has not always played well. And you can look at Saturday and say, well, the defense gave up 33 points. Yes, but again, they were defending against all those turnovers. So I think you have to factor that in. And over the course of this season, really, the defense for Buffalo was the stronger side of the ball over the course of the season, particularly the pass defense. And that's the way McDermott's defenses are structured to play. They take away the pass, they take away the big play, they'll give up some run yardage, and certainly they did that this season. But, this team was ravaged on both sides of the ball injury-wise, but yeah, it's hard. It would be hard to look at the course of this season and say, the defense was what let the Buffalo Bills down this season. Then you have the dynamic with him and general manager Brandon Beane. They both came from the Carolina Panthers, but McDermott was hired first. And it's not a typical structure where McDermott reports to Beane. They both report independently to owner Terry Pegula. And certainly there was a lot made of some comments that Brandon Beane made at the start of the season that he felt their receiving unit was good enough to win with because of the way they'd scored in 2024. They come back with a very similar structure, and in 2025 was a very different situation. Beane has taken a lot of criticism for the lack of ability to replace Stephon Diggs, who they traded 2 off seasons ago. The highest drafted receiver in Josh Allen's time as quarterback of the Buffalo Bills was a Brandon Beane pick that he traded down for in 2024, and that was Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman was a healthy scratch down much of the end of this season, had 1 catch for 10 yards. It was a touchdown in the playoff game. And I think just the fact that there were not additions made to this roster at the trade deadline, in some ways people saw that as taking Sean McDermott off the hook a little bit, because there was a sense that Beane was asked point blank, is this a championship roster? He said it was. I don't think many people would have agreed with him. The other thing about Sean McDermott being fired is this is a guy who's really embedded himself in Buffalo. I mean, he talks about it not being the place he works. It's his home, even though he's not from Buffalo. He's very much Buffalo-minded, very much of the community. Even his complaints about the officiating the other night in Denver, he said, I'm standing up for Buffalo. Well, it is a turning of the page for Buffalo, and one I would say not many people saw coming.